Yep.
Welcome to another episode of Flick Fights with Devon and Nick Nye. This week we are doing The Conjuring versus Insidious. And before anything else happens, I just want all you horror fans out there to know that I'm not a horror fan. So if you hate something I say, I'm sorry. Let's do the tail of the tape. Nick, you want to go first?
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll start with Insidious here. It's a supernatural horror film directed by James Wan, written by Leigh Whannell, and produced by James Bloom. It stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, Barbara Hershey, and the film had its first world premiere at the 2010 Toronto International Film Festival and was released in theaters on April 1st, 2021. And had a budget of, really only $1.5 million. Domestic gross $54 million, international $43 for a total worldwide of $79. So almost 100% return on investment there.
Yeah, that return on investment was fucking insane. When I saw that number, I was like, they made out like whoever invested $1.5 million, like, I told you.
Just sitting there on a stack of cash with a cigar, and if he didn't do that, then he was making a mistake.
Conjuring was made 3 years later, also directed by James Wan, also starring... Wait, did you do Insidious? Yeah, you did. You did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. No, already confusing. Starring Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, Lily Taylor, Ron Livingston. That one shocked me. Just watching the guy from The Office the entire time.
It's like, Jim, I know you hated The Office, but this is not the answer.
Right.
I'm traveling back to the 70s and getting a haunted house.
Yeah, dude. I just kept expecting him to bust out in lines from The Office.
Yeah. He just goes to a therapist and just completely stops giving a shit about the entire situation.
I mean, yeah, we'll get into it, but there's parts where it seemed like he didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, he was very much... Yeah, we'll get into it, buddy.
For budget was $20 million for this one. Box office was $319 million, though, so they fucking murdered the Insidious there.
Yeah, definitely.
Rotten Tomatoes, 86%. Yeah, fun fact, the real Lorraine Warren was consulted on set and claimed that the set was haunted.
I'm sure she did.
Yeah, no, I'm sure she looked for every reason possible to... Yeah. Try and turn it into a gig, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just add some notoriety to it.
If we can get a ghost on the making of, like, it'll sell like hotcakes.
So when we picked these two movies, and I was going through it with Jess, like I said, I'm not super into horror movies. Jess is super into horror movies. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking at, like, the pictures on Google from each movie. I was like, I didn't realize Insidious was part of the whole Conjuring verse. She was like, what? No, it isn't. I was like, it's got the same dude. And she was like, it does? And she looked it up. She didn't even remember that.
It's like, this was one of those things where, like, I think this is right around the time I stopped watching, like, current movies. It was like 2016 or something, and just started retreating into nostalgia for my own mental safety and stability, but that's a whole other story. Like, it's insane how much these movies are actually, like, almost like carbon copies of each other.
I feel like there was, like a 5-year span in the 2000s where this was the movie. Like, Haunted in Connecticut, Insidious, Sinister, like, all that shit. Every girlfriend I ever had wanted to go see every single one.
Yeah, what's the, what's the be-all, end-all one? The one with, like, all the still footage, or the still cameras.
Like Paranormal Activity?
That's the one. Yeah, I think the OG Paranormal Activity came out around that time, and that movie was shot for, like, 3 strawberries and a shoestring, basically.
That one scared the shit out of me, though. That one...
Oh, yeah.
All still camera films like that scared, like, found footage shit.
It was like the Sixth Sense, or like the Blair Witch. Like, when at the time nothing had really been done like that, so it had this, like, fresh impact and punch. And yeah, there was this, like, we had the cowboy era, we had the zombie era, now we're in the superhero era. I think this was like the haunted house ghost era in its prime.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, although Blair Witch was the first one to ever scare the shit out of me, but yeah, the found footage vibe really fucks with me. These, it depends on the setting. If I'm watching them in broad daylight, I'm not scared, like, even a little bit. Jump scares still get me a little bit, but
yeah,
Jess is, like, so into it. She watches, like, the foreign ones that are, like, just awful. Just traumatizing.
Japanese horror is messed up. Like,
yeah, she made me watch the original version of Speak No Evil with her before the American version came out. Mm-hmm. Fucking hate that movie. And then she was pissed at the American version.
Yeah, the same thing with Old Man. I don't know if you've ever seen that one, but yeah, it's.
I don't think I have. I'm sure if I mention it to Jess after this, she's gonna make me watch.
It's not really a horror movie, but there's a Korean version and an American version, and the Korean.
Oh, you mean Old Boy?
That's the one, not Old Boy.
Yeah. No, I've definitely seen that, and it's super fucked up. Both versions are super fucked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the Korean one's just a better movie, like empirically.
Yeah. After I watched the American version, I just couldn't bring myself to watch it again. So.
Yeah. There's a few things, like a few fight scenes that make it worth it, but yeah, it's traumatizing.
So I'm sure everybody's seen these movies, but just skim through the plots. The Conjuring is the quote-unquote true story of Ed and Lorraine Warren going to another job at a haunted house, but this one is bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, I thought that for a second they were going to go with the whole trope of when they said like a witch was hung here. I thought it was going to be like the witch is out for revenge because it was just a lady. And like, no, she was a straight up witch. She said she loved Satan and then she killed herself.
Yeah, but very like pseudo-religious movie, which I kind of don't remember the first time through it because there's it's about an exorcism, so I guess it kind of comes to the territory. But there's a lot of like, God put us together for this moment exactly, and
which has to be because she was on set. I feel like she was hammering that shit down hard because she says it. She specifically says it like 11 times in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he's right, though. Like, every time that he's like, you need to get out of here, she's like, no. And then she's a total liability.
I know. Every time she's like, it's like, well, that thing that happened last time, which we never really explained, but,
right.
You might go catatonic again for, like, a week, and that might be bad. Nope, I'm coming. All right, damn it. That's the end of my resistance. It's not like we have, like, a child at home or anything that, like, one of us needs to survive for.
Right. Basically being raised by our grandmother while we go chase ghosts.
Yep.
So they go to a house. I don't remember what the setting was.
Yeah, I think it don't really say, but it feels like Maine, like somewhere on the East Coast or something like that.
They all are. But,
well, it's the only place that has houses old enough to be haunted. There's no fucking hauntings in Southern California because the oldest house here is 50 years old.
Well, it had to be near Salem, right? So
yeah, maybe in the Northeast. Maybe in the Northeast is fair enough.
So there's all these people that murdered and/or killed themselves in this house that are haunting the house. Ron Livingston from The Office somehow moves here in the past after the Office Space movie. And
seems to not have completely shaken the Office Space curse of not giving a shit. Just my entire family's freaking out, and they're screaming and reporting physical things. There's bruises on my wife, but there's got to be a logical explanation for all this.
Dude, the part where they're like, you need to basically psych your wife up to snap out of this, and he's just like, come on now, you got this.
It's like Hank Hill comforting you. It's like, I sure am fond of you. You got this. I believe in you. Remember our sweet daughter.
It's not until Lorraine's like, think about that memory you told me about. He's like, what? You fucking suck, dude.
And God, that man can't produce a Y chromosome to save his life.
And about 30% of this movie is a setup for Annabelle. And that's pretty much the whole movie. If you want to skim through Insidious.
Yeah, I think Insidious starts off with, yet again, family moving into new house. And apparently the child is, you find out later in the movie, is some kind of astral projector. And since he's been a little child, has been sending his soul away from his body. And apparently he went too far and went to basically the afterlife and pulled back.
The further. They call it the further,
further.
The least creative name.
Yeah, just the adjective description uppercase, And he goes into a coma almost immediately. I really forgot how instant the kids getting screwed over in Insidious was. That was just right out the gate, kids in a coma and down, and we're getting feeding tube instructions. It's oh Jesus Christ! And then we all all possible avenues are exhausted, as like the mom has been seeing weird shit in the house the entire time, and I don't think the dad sees like anything until near the very end, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, he has like the quickest turnaround from I don't believe any of this shit, and then goes and sees a bunch of drawings on his son's wall that they've never seen before that is like laying out the plot for him. Like, I went too far. There's a red door. He's like, okay, I believe it. Literally 5 minutes. He's like, this is
it's like,
bullshit.
I don't believe this shit. You're all insane. And then like comes back 5 minutes later. Okay, yeah, you actually might all be completely correct. And it's like, also, are you not looking at your child's drawings? Like
that's
like,
what I'm saying. I was like, there's no chance that if I was putting my kid to bed and I look up on the wall and saw those drawings, I wouldn't be like, hey, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it's like blatant demons. Like, it's not even just like, oh, that could kind of be interpreted some way. It's like, no, it's a black silhouette with blazing eyes looking at me from the closet. It's like, Billy, is there something you need to talk to me about? Because that's terrifying.
Very least, why does this door look so scary?
Yeah. So you used a lot of black crayon in this one, son. Do we need to talk about something? I mean, there wasn't quite the, like, mom, dad, me, grandpa, demon, like, in fucking, like, Cthulhu writing, but it was pretty goddamn close to that. Yeah, and then we pull in basically the exact same character from Poltergeist, except she doesn't have a funny voice. Well, I will say that first, before she comes in, what I lovingly refer to as the Geek Squad Ghostbusters come in.
I love those guys.
Dude, oh my god, that those two characters like elevated the movie like a couple notches to me, because it's these two guys, like, you can tell they have this like little petty rivalry between each other, and they're always trying to one up each other, and they like look like fucking Mormons with fucking Ghostbuster tech. It's awesome.
Yeah, I could watch a show just about those two guys. I feel like it should be animated too, but
yeah, I want to spin off of their adventures, and it's just like they're kind of doing this thing. They're all jaded. Then like, one of them was like, "Oh, it's real. Call the lady," and they call her in. She busts out a gas mask. The technology
that
is
shit was
fucking
hilarious.
Weird. Yeah.
I want to see a spoof of that scene where she puts that mask on. They're all sitting there waiting, and she just rips a fat cloud out of it.
Yeah, or her assistant just goes like, and then fucking like puts it back on. It's just like,
yeah, you cannot convince me the only way to hear her whispering is this creepy ass gas mask that goes straight to your ears.
Yeah, the technology was questionable. It's very specific, but it was very questionable. But yeah, we can get into that a little bit later with like, the rules and the setting and the lore and everything.
Speaking of that old lady, as soon as I saw her face, I was like, oh, this bitch. And Jess was like, you remember her from this movie? I'm like, no, I feel like I've just seen her in every horror movie, and she's always terrified. And then I look her up. First of all, she's in every single Insidious. I didn't realize there were that many. She's in The Grudge. She's in Room for Rent. She's in Dead End. She's in Maniacs. She's in Critters 1, Critters 2, Ouija, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Dreamcatcher, The Midnight Man. Like, what the fuck is this lady's career, man?
Ominous lady number 3, apparently, I guess.
She's good at it. She's got that gaunt face that just
she
scary
found her
as
niche
shit.
and she leaned into it.
Hey, do me a favor and hold that cord at the bottom of your mic secure, because I can like hear it when you're moving around. At the bottom of the mic, not your headphones.
Ah.
I thought it was mine, because I do that too, but...
Is that better?
Yep.
All right.
But yeah, that lady is the goat of horror, apparently, and possibly the best part of that movie, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Darth Maul shows up.
There are parts that he does scare me. Like when he first pops up behind that guy's face... That scared the shit out of me.
It's terrifying. It's like Mulholland Drive when like the fucking tar lady comes out. It's like, oh Jesus Christ! But it's like it's alien. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen like a photo of like the guy in the alien costume just standing there like reading his notes from the screen and shit. It looks like a dude in an alien costume, and it's like all the fucking creepiness is like the body motions and how little you see it. It's like Jaws. Like the less you see it, the scarier it is.
Exactly. So that's why when they get to the part where he's fucking having sex with the window while they're looking up at him, it was not scary at all. Just
like fucking doing his fingers, like listening to fucking Tiny Tim on the fucking record player,
and then he just starts like licking the window, like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like, you lost me there, buddy.
I'm not scared even a little bit now.
No, it's like, did we like call Krampus in from like the astral plane? Like,
Right.
what the fuck?
No, that definitely had Krampus vibes, dude. It's a good comparison. Yeah, the sharpening of the nails was immediately just not scared at all anymore. I just want to know more about what the fuck this creature is. Is it normal for demons to care about their nails?
Yeah. Do they all have male pattern baldness? Like, it's just like... Yet again, even if they just showed his eyes and the nails and, like, the silhouette, but it's like, yeah, once he's like, horny goat man, it's just like, okay, yeah, you've lost all credibility on the horror of your creation. It's like, what's the old lady with the candle doing? Maybe we can check on her. She's still kind of creepy.
Yeah. And then they pull the old twist ending where everything was not okay. And I don't know. I wasn't feeling that ending.
No, like it definitely felt like a studio note. It's like, no, it's got to have like a twist so we can make more, which they did.
Well, and I vaguely remember watching some of the other Insidious movies, but I don't remember shit. So I don't remember how this lady is in them. I don't remember how they move on from it. I'll have to check it out. I will look at a summary of the other movies. I'm not going to watch all the Insidious movies.
No. But yeah, no, it had some parts like that were like I feel really effective and good, but like it's once we get to like horny goat man Darth Maul, I'm just like, and I'm laughing.
Yep,
and I shouldn't be laughing.
Yep. Yeah, that and the scene with the drawings both were just like, yeah, they ran out of time or something. I mean, they had a very low budget, so
yeah. Those crayon drawings were probably like a measurable percent of the budget.
Right. I'm wondering how much they paid Patrick to be in that movie if their budget was $1.5 million. I don't even know how you afford your actors with that. You just give them all percentage points or something?
Yeah, maybe on the back end, which, I mean, wasn't that great.
No, I do remember this being big, but they all were. Like I said, it was Sinister, it was all that shit.
Mm-hmm. It was the era of the haunted house.
Yeah, I appreciate The Conjuring for what it is and the universe it brought about, but Insidious was also just kind of a dud. They both just, after seeing 20 plus of these movies.
Yeah, it's to the point where it's just like, and this happens, and here comes the horror beat, and there it is.
Yeah, I could have predicted, but I thought I knew exactly how each one started, and there was a second at both of them where like, oh, I don't remember this being part of the movie, and then it just kind of circles back around to the same old tropes from like, here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. There's some effective gags and bits, but yeah, for the most part, I wasn't like on my seat like, but like it was like every once in a while. So
right,
I'll give them that.
All right, well, with that, let's get into round one. Supernatural lore and world building. How well does the film establish its ghost demon mythology? Are the rules of the supernatural world clear, consistent, and intriguing? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about intriguing necessarily, but Conjuring definitely had some clear and consistent rules to the point, like, they're like, here's the rules, like, on a fucking whiteboard.
Exactly. Yeah, no, they straight up, it's almost like a explanation trope, like exposition, but it works well, where it keeps cutting to him teaching in school, writing on the board, showing them videos and being like, so here's how possession works. Here's how exorcisms work. Here's how demons work.
Like, I feel like a lot of it was like they were planning for this to become a franchise, and was like, okay, here's the setup. Like, here's the baseline.
Definitely.
We're putting all the groundwork in, and like, so you'll know the rules and the beats of the oncoming movies and stuff. And yeah, the Annabelle shit I completely forgot about too, because like, and beyond the fact, like, I've seen the advertisements for Annabelle, and like, I didn't think they had like that amount of foresight back then to be like using that doll for everything. 'Cause, you ever seen the real Annabelle doll?
Well, yeah, because there's that fucking article that came out like 2 weeks ago that the Annabelle doll is missing.
Yeah.
And everybody started posting like me going to look for Annabelle.
Yeah, but it's a Raggedy Ann doll. Like, it's like not this like porcelain fucking like
a lot less creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
Raggedy Ann dolls still scare the shit out of me, for the record. My grandma had the Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls in her basement. Basement scared me. The dolls scared me. So, the dolls in general just scare me.
My grandma used to have this like life-size like doll. Well, we say life-size, like the size of like a big toddler, sort of like 2.5 feet, 3 tall. But like she would put it in the weirdest goddamn places. And I remember one time I had to go watch her house, and she had it just like facing into the corner of like the room that I entered in. I was like, nope, 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 nope.
What the fuck is wrong with your grandma, man?
Getting loopy near the end.
That British humor.
Yeah, she made dolls too, so her house was just like full of like these like unblinking Victorian little. Like,
My grandma made giant teddy bears. A lot less creepy.
Yeah, that's endearing.
Yeah, Conjuring definitely establishes it early and solid. Seems to stick to it. I don't, they say right out of the gates, it seems to be a constant thing in these movies where they're like, this isn't just a ghost, it's a demon. At a certain point, it's like, I think it's a demon. They're like, no, it's not. Wait, yes, it is a demon. How did you know that?
Yeah, like, I don't know if Insidious was as clear on the rules. I mean, like we had like I said, we had the Ghostbuster Geek Squad come in and like do their little song and dance, which kind of seemed to I feel like Insidious had rules that we weren't told. Like that's
well, yeah, they kind of throw them in as you're going, like the fucking. How when he's going through like the astral world and she's like, "You're stronger than them," and he's like, "Just and fucking beats the shit out of the guy." I'm like,
couldn't have told me that earlier,
right? On the list of things I need to know while going into this astral world where there's demons and shit. You're a goddamn superhero wasn't like at the top of the list.
Yeah. Oh, I can fly and like punch the shit out of these like half spirits.
Dude.
Like, let me know because I've been getting my ass kicked, and you saw me getting my ass kicked for quite some time. Yeah. He's like in the chair, like, and he's like, oh yeah, actually fight back. You probably should fight back.
That scene reminded me so much of The Matrix, where he's sitting in the chair, just fucking. I was waiting for blood to come out of his mouth.
Yeah, and the thing that bugged me too is like what was happening in the chair wasn't like corresponding to what was happening like in the like dream reality or the further whatever it was. He was like having a seizure. He gets like punched in the face, and the room was like,
yeah,
it's a little odd.
Yeah, they're in like a slight grapple. That's the other thing. This dude pops up. He's been popping up throughout the movie, kind of building him up to be scary. And then his move is just to grab him and growl at him. Punch him a couple times.
It felt like he got pretty manhandled through most of Insidious. He never really had a handle on the situation. He was just getting his ass kicked left and right until everyone's like, oh yeah, you're strong here. Like, oh.
Well, and then so one thing they established is basically the longer you're away from your body, the easier it is for a demon or whatever to take over your body. This little kid has been away from his body for like seemingly several months, right? And the demon's like almost there. The ending of this movie implies that the dad being away from his body for like 20 minutes was enough time for this demon to take his body forever.
Well, I guess it was different because it was a separate, unrelated demon to the demon that we were dealing with the entire time.
Yeah, like, but they didn't say, like, that specific demon needs this amount of time.
Well, I guess the whole thing was, like at least what I inferred from it, because, like, there was, like, a lot of callbacks and stuff, like, which I will give, like, in the beginning I was like, wait a minute, is there just two random unrelated demons here? But it's like they do kind of, like, link everything together, like... In the beginning, like, the demon's trying to get rid of, like, her music because it loves pain and she's using it to heal. So, like, I'll give them that. But, oh, God. That's my point. I
think Insidious did, too. But
yeah, that's it. Oh, God, hold on. Backtrack my thoughts. I had a good point.
So you're saying that the demon following the dad had different, like...
Yeah, because I think... Oh, that was it, yeah. Because basically when the mom came in... Because the mom at the beginning is like, no, I totally... Or the mother-in-law is like, no, I totally believe you. Like, no doubt whatsoever. It's because she saw it, and I think when they locked him down... Like, because, like, the whole reason they know the spiritual medium lady is because the husband in the beginning... Like, or when he was a kid, had the same problem, and he passed it to his kid, which is why the kid has this problem. So, like, he's just like a line of basically empaths or astral projectors, and... They just kind of attract issues. And, because, like, he shows the photos, and the photos, the old lady is getting closer in each photo to the dad as he's a kid. And I think they delete his memory somehow and lock down his ability to astral project. And I think she was, like, right there, like, when they locked it down. And then when they unlocked it, she's just like, ha! And, like, took that last step she needed into
Okay, you've successfully convinced me that wasn't quite as dumb as I thought.
Yeah, because he's acting weird, too, the entire time. He's having, like, these weird times. He's, like, falling asleep for no reason, like, and shit like that.
Well, yeah, like, when he fell asleep in the school, and he's, like, walking through his house and his kid's bedroom and stuff. I like the foreshadowing there. And every time they're talking about astral projection, he's like, huh.
Yeah, which also explains kind of maybe why he had this like really quick turnaround, was because he's like, been programmed to kind of deny this shit by his mom and the spiritual lady, and then like one crack happens and it all comes flooding back. Or
right.
It could have been.
So it's kind of her fault.
Kind of, yeah.
You're telling me,
really.
So that lady could astral project, right? Am I remembering that wrong? Did she not do that in the movie?
She didn't astral project. It seemed more like she could like speak into the afterlife. I don't know. It wasn't clear if she was astral projecting or not.
Okay.
Like it just seemed like
I was just there's that spot where he's like standing outside of his own body and she's talking to him, and then she just kind of disappears.
Yeah, because I think like she says like your family is like a really really strong line of astral projectors. So maybe like she's got kind of the power, but not enough to go like as far and as strong and as quickly as he does, which is why he had to go, kind of a thing.
So the thing is, though, that she remembered all that stuff about this guy when he was a little kid, and that there was a ghost getting closer and closer to him his whole life, and she just was like, yeah, but only you could do it. And like no preparation, no safeguards or anything to keep the ghost from taking him. And so,
no, it's 100% her fault she died. And
exactly.
like,
I was gonna say, nobody to blame but yourself for you getting choked to death.
Yeah, and also like,
hide it better. Hide it better when you realize he's the ghost.
Exactly. Don't just like fucking like, might be this murderous ghost. Always take a picture of him. Like you could have done that anytime, like the next day when he's coming out of his house or something, or making excuses. I don't know. But yeah, it was totally her fault.
So I mean, like the lore established. I mean, I feel like there was just more lore to establish in The Conjuring. Like,
yeah, well, it almost felt like the point of the movie at the end of the day was just like, here's the baseline
set up for
going forward,
like Iron Man for the Avengers. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It was the Iron Man of this horror franchise, which I think is still going.
I mean, based off of just this movie, I think they stuck to it pretty well. I don't know. I don't feel like Insidious. It feels like they were just dropping lore in the moment, and I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know the rules until the rule was presented to me in the moment it became necessary to know the rule, as opposed to The Conjuring, where it's just like, oh no, we're running out of fucking time because we're in step 3 now.
Right.
So.
I mean, like I said, you just cannot convince me the only way they can handle the whole her listening to the astral world is to put a weird ass gas mask on. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm that piece of the lore and some other things, not buying it. It wasn't it feels like it was all just a trope to like get a scary moment. So as far as being clear, consistent, and intriguing, not giving that
also
one to Insidious.
The guy just can't say what's being said. He has to like write it in dramatic fashion in a sketchbook.
What the fuck, man? Why do you have to draw dramatically? The more dramatic the words get.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be a goddamn professional. Use a fucking use a pen.
Saying, bitch, you whore, bitch, you whore, bitch, you whore, bitch. It's just like it's.
Instead, he's like BITC.
Yeah.
It's like I need another fucking notebook. Here. I wasn't ready for this.
Like, unless the demon's Ouijaing this shit, like, in her head, I think we're a little behind what he's saying.
Right.
At this point.
Yeah, that part cracked me the fuck up. I was just like, this guy must go through note. And also, why is he using, like, a charcoal pencil?
Exactly, yeah. I guess it was, like, art versus science and, like, meant to evoke this, like, it's both an art and a science communicating with ghosts kind of a thing. But, yeah.
I like...
I will say, though...
Those two guys, though, I love every scene there.
Yeah, no, like I said, I need like a fucking buddy cop sitcom with them, just going from like supernatural thing to super. Like, I need a supernatural TV show with them that's got like a hardcore comedy beat to it.
Yes, absolutely. And they had a couple shows like that on. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I think it was on
like
Comedy
Ghost
Central.
Hunters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a comedy show. It had I can't remember the guy's name. He was a funny fat guy with a beard that was in a bunch of stuff. And I'm pretty sure there was a show just like that where they were like ghost hunters and they dressed just like him and everything. But yeah, I would love to see that. Specifically, the bigger dude cracked me the fuck up. And when he's like, pictures worth 1,000 words. And the other guy is like, you know what else is worth 1,000 words? Words.
Yeah, we'll say though, even though the Insidious demon itself wasn't creepy, I'll say the ghosts were pretty fucking good. Like, those got me a few times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When the When that dude just pops up in the room and it's just like his whole thing apparently is just getting face to face with you and making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, like the walking back and forth thing, like out of the window into the window was good. And
dude,
yeah.
the part that got me the most, I think, in Insidious is when it's so barely noticeable. She's like walking through her house right before you see the little boy for the first time.
Oh yeah, he's
and
just,
it looks
in the
like
corner.
dude, and it's supposed to look like a coat on a hook or something. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just not focused on, and that's the shit I love about horror movies. Like when I get rewarded for paying attention, and it's not just like da-na-na, and, like the camera zooms in on it. That's
the
like
most scared
creepier.
I am is when there's no background music.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Jess during that part. I was like, this lady is not paranoid enough. I would be looking at everything.
Oh, dude, especially at this point, because that's like when she's at the new house, I think, already.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, shit has already gone down. If I see, like, if a cup moves from here to here, I'm burning down the fucking house. Like,
yeah, dude.
I have no tolerance for this anymore.
I love that they both start with somebody moving. Like, just forever fear of moving into a new house, especially if it has a basement.
Yep. Well, and that was like one of the things with both of them. Both of them were like, well, first one's like, we're gonna move. Shit, it followed us. And the second one was like, can we move? They're like, no, it's gonna follow you.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. They're like, just don't even bother. It's not gonna work.
Yeah, because so many horror movies, it's just like,
it wasn't the house. It was you. The like Paranormal Activity did that whole thing too. We're like, it's not the house. It's following you. So I mean, if they made it in modern day, they'd be like, well, hang on, is this the ghost that's in the house or a ghost that follows me? Let's figure this out first.
Let's do some science. Let's get a motel for a couple nights. Weird shit happens in the motel, then we got a big problem.
Like, you think it's a ghost? No, it's probably a demon. But I would give round one to The Conjuring, just because, I don't know, I feel like it did a better job, and it really establishes, like you said, the whole point is their whole franchise they make. So they make some pretty basic rules, but they also establish some lore with like the Catholic Church and Lorraine Warren and their history of this. And
one more thing with the Warrens, though, just like with the lore and shit. How are you like sitting on like the Chernobyl of like fucking haunted, possessed items like in your rumpus room? And like,
dude,
you're just cool with that.
And the part where the daughter is, you know, going through it and just leaves the door open, it made me think of Cabin in the Woods, where they let all the monsters out. It's like you just opened Hell's Gate.
I know. I'm just like imagining they're just like collaborating in there and like ready to do something. Like it's just...
That logic was bullshit. When he was like, "Why do you keep all this in the same room?" and he was like, well, you know, it's like taking all the guns and keeping them in one place. Like, nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
Nobody is keeping all the weapons in one room.
Or even if you're gonna do that, get a fucking storage site somewhere and like don't keep it where your fucking like 10-year-old daughter's sleeping.
With just like a cheeky little sign.
Demons.
That's their whole defense, is a cute little sign that says,
and we've even established in the movie that like crucifixes and shit don't stop them. It just pisses them off.
It's just a bunch of middle fingers hanging around a room full of demons.
It's like, I'm not an exorcist. I'm like, damn straight you're not. This is no
70s logic, though. I will say that's some 70s logic.
Yeah.
Speaking of 70s logic, was it normal in the 70s for women to wear like fucking Victorian dresses that have cowls around their neck? Like every time it showed Lorraine Warren, I was just like, where is she getting these clothes? Everyone else is dressed relatively normal, and she's like, I need to look kind of like a Victorian princess.
Well, I think part of it is probably it's like the hyper-religious aspect of everything, where they're like super conservative dressing and having like high-collared shirts and not showing skin.
That makes sense, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they'll be a little more antiquated, and yet again, the 70s. So
the shoehorned in heavy religion is, like I said, has to be because she was on set for all this. Just like, we got to mention God at least 7 times in this.
Yeah, it's not even just like, you know, like some supernatural force. Like, no, witch praying to Satan. Said hail Satan, and then jumped off a fucking tree and hung herself. Like,
no,
like, wow,
sacrificed her child, then said, I love Satan, and killed herself. I was like, I don't know. I feel like there's a little more to that story.
Like, think all witches just do. Like,
right.
Also, who saw that?
Right. Yeah, how did this get passed down? Yeah, they need to do a prequel movie of how all that was bullshit, and it was just a husband successfully convincing everyone of this.
Yep.
All right, so we got Conjuring up 2-0 going into round 2. Does the film create a slow, creeping sense of dread? How well does it pace the horror reveals versus dumping scares too fast or too late?
Yeah, man, I'll say with Insidious, like, it just fucking foot on the gas right out of the goddamn gate. It's just like...
Oh, dude.
Fucking, like, zooms in on the fucking child, and there's a ghost over here, Insidious. It's just like, okay, we're going, man.
Yeah, the epileptic violinist, I hate that. I hate that sound.
Yeah. It's like, yeah,
But
it makes me anxious and tense, but not for any valid reason. Just because, like, my fucking monkey brain goes, yeah, no.
Just because I'm worried the TV is about to wake my fucking kids up because I had the volume turned up. Assholes. Yeah, no, they definitely were foot on the gas. They got a little lull there, I guess, when he goes into a coma. And then...
Yeah, but I mean, like, shit's happening, like, right off the bat. Like, I want to say, like, first or second scene, like, they're moving in and, like, the books get knocked off the shelf and the sheet music disappears. So it's like, right away, creepy, weird shit is happening. Like, and, like, not even just, like, oh, there's a noise, a door open. Like, no, shit's being, like, moved and thrown and physically manipulated and shit, like, instantly.
Yeah, no, I mean, tact-wise, talk about, like, just a slip-up on the ghost part that they didn't even wait a little bit. They were just like, welcome to the fucking house! Boom!
I mean, to be fair, Goat Demon Darth Maul does not seem like he has any chills, so be like, yeah, let's go. They get in there. It's like, welcome to my house.
Just sitting there sensually and slowly touching himself as soon as they walk in the door. I've been sharpening my nails. I'm fucking ready. Let's go.
Yeah, and there wasn't even like because like in the Conjuring, there's like they breach the basement, and that's when the weird shit starts happening. There wasn't really.
So in Insidious, it was when he goes to the attic. So just different levels of the house.
Just sandwiched between layers of hell. All houses.
Most unrealistic parents in history, though. I mean, if my daughter or my son went up and just fell off like the third rung of the ladder and was like, ow, I fell, I wouldn't be like, oh my fucking God, what do we do? I'd be like, you all right? Like, you good?
Yeah.
Like, get up. Yeah. You broken?
Like bounce.
Nope.
How many fingers? All right, go to bed.
All right, let's move on. Come on. And then, yeah, he didn't fall. They should have made him fall from higher because I feel like the implication was they're supposed to believe that he got like some kind of concussion or something, and like
and then I guess that's the whole thing though. It's like if you're unconscious, that's when the demon comes in.
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about that.
Yeah, so because that's what happens with the dad when he's out. Like that's when he gets possessed, and like the same thing is like the kid does the astral projection thing, but like when he's like out and like in the demon's lair, that's like he comes like creeping forward and grabs him.
It's kind of funny because they didn't like make him fall off the ladder, so it was just broken. So the demon's standing there just like, oh cool.
I mean, free kid. Yeah. I mean, if you want to really get into it, it's mom's fault. She fucking was the one that came up and broke the ladder and was just like,
did the sheet music ever come back up? I can't remember. They make a huge thing of the sheet music sitting in the corner.
I think after that, no, but I think the whole thing is just like implied because like the woman says like, so like the ghost wants your kid because they want to be alive again. The demon wants your kid just to hurt you.
Right.
And I guess the whole thing is like at the beginning you see like a book that says like healing through music and stuff like that. So I guess at first the demon was like, what's my angle here? Ooh, well, she likes music. Well, fuck her music. And then the kid just like falls down unconscious at his feet and is like, oh, this is way better. I can hurt her way more with her kid. Yeah, there's not a lot of deep motivation to the demon. He's just like, I want to
see a version of this from the demon's perspective, where he's just this dumb guy that's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Slide in here and pull this kid's suit on and become a demon.
Yeah, I think The Conjuring has a better build. I feel like.
Yeah, because like the whole beginning is just basically like the Brady Bunch. There's like like the hide and seek. It's just like little thing. Oh, that was one. Like I said, it's the small things that get me. Like when they're doing the hide and seek thing, and the two hands just come into the closet and do that.
Oh
and
yeah.
Disappear. Like that was just like, ooh, that's just no.
Yeah, and how much that came back throughout the movie, I loved it. Like when she's in the dark in the basement, and the hands. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, like those parts were just like. Chef's kiss, and then we have like full like demon witch lady. Like, okay, you lost me again.
Yeah, they definitely kind of floor it in Insidious, and I don't know. They just fall a little bit. Like you said, like all the corny ass demon scenes, I feel like should have been like at the very end. They should have not been in the movie at all. But if they were going to be anywhere, they should have been at the very end or like, I don't know.
It's like Paranormal Activity is terrifying because we never see the thing.
Right.
Like, it's just a complete mystery forever. Like, they never show it. Yet again, it's like if they just shown his silhouette, the eyes in the darkness, like...
right, when they show him on the
claws.
ceiling, that was great. That was really good build-up. And then they just shit all over it when they show him.
Then it's just a dude in grease paint with Uggs.
Yeah,
it's just
they call him the lipstick monster.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I could kick his ass. Like,
right.
He's gonna scratch me up, but like I could probably take him.
I would have had a little bit more respect for the movie if after figuring out you can beat the shit out of people in the astral world because you're alive, when you see the weird, creepy sex guy, if you're just like, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That would have even been a greater fucking ending to the movie. Like, he gets in a fucking fist fight with the thing, like, beats the shit out of it for hurting his kid. Then you think we've won, fucking old lady grabs him at the end. Like, that would have been like, oh, shit. And, like...
that would have been way better. Yeah, there's a million things we could do to fix Insidious. But, yeah, definitely going to give that one to The Conjuring as well. So 4-0 going into round 3. Scare execution, jump scares versus psychological horror. Are the scares creative and well-timed, or do they rely on cheap jumps or build genuine psychological terror? I mean, Insidious is just full of relying on cheap jump scares.
Oh, yeah. Like, so, like, I think, like, one of the ones that, like, kind of made me actually jump was, like, when, like, he's in the astral plane and, like, the bride comes out from behind the door, like, the front door when he comes in. It's all just like fucking like, you know, violin strike and like, oh, it made my monkey brain twitch. Like,
yeah, the one
like,
subtle thing with the kid just secretly in the corner was like the only scare in the movie I kind of super respected. Like I said, the setup with the gas masks, like they didn't convince me it was necessary, so they just made it extra scary, and then I just realized they both have the strobe light thing, too, where they're like, they just flash off whenever a ghost goes by. But when Insidious did it, it was just, where the fuck are all the lights coming from? Because they have to run out at a certain point, and then it just turns into a fucking 90s techno club in there, like, full of ghosts.
Yeah, I feel like the scares in The Conjuring were definitely more earned. Like, there's this like kind of like slow burn and build up, and at first it's just like you just see like hands and little weird creepy things in the background, and like shit you can miss like, if you're not paying attention. But
the way they can scare you with just a pair of feet dangling, like.
Oh yeah, no, like I want to say like that thing where like she's like falling down through the house under the table, and like you see like the hanging witch like cover in,
and then slowly turn.
Yeah, that's some shit from an actual nightmare where it's just like, does it see me? And like you think about it sees you, and then it's like, oh, it sees you, and starts turning around. Like that was, I want to say, effective as hell.
Yes, no, the claps always got me, and. Yeah, no, it would make you think like you're getting ready for one scare and give you another. Insidious, I don't know. It was just too in your face. It was just a barrage of shit. Like every time I picture that like seance scene, like they could have made it way scarier, and then they're just like, and then all the fucking lights are going off. All the ghosts are here, and they're just throwing people around the room and shit, and it's like a mosh pit. Like, it was too much.
Yeah, and even the thing that's like I remember, like I didn't remember a lot of Insidious, but the one scene I remembered was like when I think it's in the astral plane, and he runs out of the room, and you see Goatman like wall crawl Spider-Man style like along the hallway, and it's just like it looks so bad, like
the worst version of Venom.
Yeah, and I think we don't see him after that. That's it. Like, if I remember right, it's just like I'm gonna get you, and he's gone.
Yeah. Maybe there's some kind of hierarchy there where the scary lady had like authority over him or something. I don't know.
I got dibs.
Yeah, they got a couple good scares in the beginning of Insidious, but the rest of it was corny as hell. And like even the jump scares, I'm just so fucking ready for them. Like they're so telegraphed. Like
the whole like 1950s family thing, it was like eerie, but like it didn't like fucking scare me. Like
right. Yeah, no, The Conjuring, on the psychological note of it, that, I don't know, I feel like they do a way better job of you can feel the stress of this family. And you know, one thing that adds to that is the scene where they're all making pancakes because they got like one good night's sleep. And it's real, man. I mean, if your family is going through shit and everybody just has one decent night, the next day everyone's on fucking cloud nine. Everybody's making pancakes. Like, let's go get some fucking ice cream. And they're like, yeah. And then they just go right back to it.
Yeah, I will say though, in The Conjuring, how the fuck they get a cop? Like, they never really explained that.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy's deal was. I don't.
Yeah, didn't really help that much either. And again, I guess like another strong dude to like manhandle the possessed lady, but.
Yeah, I'm not
like,
sure. And they kind of say like he doesn't believe in this shit. I'm like, how did he end up here then? Like, why he's
who ordered him here?
How is he not in trouble at work right now? He's taking the squad car to this shit. He just fired a shotgun on their home. He has to explain those missing rounds.
Yeah, then another squad car shows up at the end. So there's like more than one cop that's like cool with this. Like,
they're like, you guys are on warrant duty this weekend.
Yeah. It's like, yep, code 47, exorcism. All right, I'm on the way, sir.
And then he shows up to work the next day like, what happened to your fucking face? Fucking ghost bit it.
Yeah. I guess that's like the only way that it was like justifiable that it wasn't some like insane domestic situation where it's like, no, there was a cop there that saw it.
Yeah. That's a good point. That does establish some credibility.
Yeah, because otherwise it's like, yeah, these weird people came in from out of town, then like they kind of started attacking each other. She tried to stab the kids. He tied her up. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on in this house.
She started throwing up. I think she's a drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at her. She's clearly fucking on something. The dad is a trucker.
Yeah, I think he's been beating her. Do you see all those bruises?
He goes away for a week, comes back. The house isn't clean. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah. It's like, no, there's a cop here. It's demons.
Yeah, I mean, even so, I think it does. Conjuring does the jump scares better, and it does the psychological horror better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just no universe where I can say the Insidious. I mean, the first time I see the dude's face did scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's like,
but they leaned on that hard. I remember that being in the fucking trailer.
Yeah, it was revealed, and it's like, yeah, I want to say like up until the halfway point, Insidious is a better movie. Once we get to like, here's all their cards, we're laying them on the table. Here's what the dude looks like. Here's the astral. Like, it's just, it loses its like impact, whereas we feel way more of an impact with The Conjuring, because we're
apparently Mila needed tools for something. I'm not gonna dive into what that's for, but
terrifying.
I'll find out tomorrow what she did with tools, but so yeah, round 3, gonna give it to Conjuring. I can't say I'm surprised by the way this is going so far with The Conjuring up 6-0. Round 4, use of the haunted space. How effectively does the movie use its setting, the house / astral plane, etc.? Is the environment itself part of the fear, like a character? I don't feel like the house was that much of a factor in The Conjuring. Maybe the land more than the house.
Yeah, but the house itself was kind of incidental. I mean, there was a couple little hidey holes and stuff, but like, it seemed, less like it wasn't a character as much as the house in Insidious was. I want to say.
Yeah, the astral plane definitely played more of a part in Insidious than the house did in The Conjuring.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I did like how the astral plane was shot, because, like, I remember I was watching a thing where, like, I mean, it's probably just some cheap digital effects, but, like, when he has that little lantern and he's, like, walking in the void, you can't, like, it doesn't cast light, like, past a certain point in his body, and, like, you can't see his feet, it doesn't hit the ground, it just seems like he's in this, like, very disembodied space, and I'm sure it was a very simple effect, but I thought it was actually pretty effective.
Yeah, when he's doing, like, the float walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, too. Because, I've had dreams where it feels like I'm doing that, and that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and I want to say, because, like, and even the void at the end, when all the ghosts are, like, crowding in and stuff, like, in the darkness, and you're just seeing little glimpses of their faces and their fingers and stuff in the void, like, I feel like that was, like, probably one of the more effective parts of the movie, because it felt, like, very, like, claustrophobic and dangerous and anxious.
I will say I was confused why the ghosts weren't helping them. I feel like they would all hate Sexy Krampus.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't know if, like, Sexy Krampus was, like, interacting with them at all, because, like, he did basically, like, just had the kid. Like, it seemed like his whole shtick was, like, fucking with the living.
Sure, but they all wanted that body. Like,
Oh yeah.
You'd think there would be some kind of competition there. Like the little boy is like, I feel like it's a little boy. Why can't I just do it? And he's like, because I'm sexy Krampus and I'm sharpening my nails. I feel like they'd be sick of his shit.
It seemed like to me, I guess, like none of the ghosts outside of their like individual cohorts ever interacted with each other. Where it was like, it seemed like there was like a lot of different layers on top of each other, like ghost-wise, without it like we never saw the 1950 people interact with the Victorian boy.
Right.
We never saw like the maid lady interact with anyone else. It was just like, I don't think they could help each other. I think they're all kind of like stuck in their own little pocket dimension thing, like living.
Yeah, even that scene where they're all crowding them out, it's like every time they turn, it's another ghost. Like it wasn't like
exactly.
They weren't like fucking Red Rovering it and making chain link arms and everything. You know?
No, yeah, it was just like I said. I don't think they were capable of helping each other because I think they're all trapped in their own little like pseudo spirit world, and the demon's only interested in living souls. He probably doesn't give a shit about that. And he's like, it's probably just like empty wrappers to him. Like he wants the food.
Right. Yeah, The Conjuring. Yeah. It definitely wasn't like environmentally driven in that movie. They pretty early established that it has nothing to do with the house. I mean, the basement's kind of creepy and everything, but and then like the secret basement thing, like that was kind of weird,
confusing. Yeah, I guess there's like hollow spaces in the walls and stuff, and like I'll put it this way: I could probably draw you a pretty close map of the Insidious house. I could not draw you a map of the Conjuring house if you fucking helped me out.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I will say, okay, so the cabinet, I guess, I don't know if you would count that as a part of the house or the environment, but the cabinet kind of played an environmental role with the secret hole they find in it.
Yeah, and I guess she
and the hands
down,
coming out of it and clapping and everything. But I will definitely. It was cool, and I liked that whole thing, but I would definitely say that the astral plane plays more of a factor in Insidious than the house does in The Conjuring.
Yeah, because they straight up say in the movie, like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah, right out of the gates. It's like, it's not the house, so don't burn the fucking house down.
Yeah.
He's like, we got a lot of money in this. He's like, yeah, don't leave.
I like how realistic that was. It's like, why can't you leave? It's like, we're poor.
Yeah,
like, yeah
that was
that's
great.
real.
I love that answer. He's like, why don't you just move? I wanted to be like, you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Whereas in Insidious, they're like, I think they're both teachers' salaries. Like, let's move. All right. And just like done instantly.
Right. Yeah.
He doesn't even like really believe her at that point. He's just like,
they kind of
console my crazy wife.
ease into the fact that he's a teacher for some reason. I remember as soon as it shows him coming home from work, I'm like, what job does this guy have where you wear a tie and Converse? Makes sense, though. Was the wife a teacher?
I think they were. I'm not sure, but I thought I remembered that.
I feel like all I ever saw her do was play music.
Yeah.
By the way, they had like zero chemistry to me.
Yeah. No, she had taken time off to work on her music. That's what it was. Like so single.
And it wasn't
single
good.
Income household. No. Like we heard I think one half a chorus and then like 3 discordant notes when she's depressed, and that's all the music we get in the entire movie.
Yeah, she sings some song about facing west, and kind of sounds like a lost track of like Oklahoma or something. Mm-hmm. And it's just cat.
Her, she's like, I've got some good songs, but at least 1 or 2 of them are good. I don't know. She's like, she's not even like confident about her own abilities.
Yeah, she wasn't great. And then like I said, they have like no chemistry when it shows them in bed, and he's like, maybe you write a song about me, and she's just laughing her ass off. I'm like, this is so unrealistic.
Oh, also, too, he completely dodged the question. It's like, what's your favorite song? It's like, you can write one about me. He's like, he didn't know. He didn't know.
He's like, they didn't write a personality for me. I have no backstory. I barely know what music is. I just go teach and sleep at the school.
Yep.
And nobody asks me while I'm sleeping there. They just let me do it.
And I'll just look vaguely concerned in the corner for the rest of the movie.
So I would give the round 4 of the haunted space, I guess, to Insidious.
Yeah,
I like the concept of the astral plane. I just feel like they could have done it better. It felt very thrown together. I like how, like
I said, for a $1.5 million movie, I mean,
that's another thing you gotta keep in mind. But I like the way, at least sometimes, I like the way the astral plane felt. How it was like empty darkness, but like. The contrast of the empty darkness with a light on his head was pretty cool.
Like, because I want to say, could we have taken the demon out of it and just made it another one of the creepy ghosts, And because yet again, we're in the astral plane, and then we go into his like fucking like rape dungeon, and
Right.
it's just like this
Yeah,
fucking
what-
complete tonal shift, like that apparently is in the attic for some reason.
Oh yeah, no, that was that whole part was so fucking weird. It was all like comically like oversized chains and boxes.
Yeah, this weird like faux gothics, like it looked like a theater or something. It was a really
Right.
weird space. Had like a glass modern opening door that was so fucking strange. Like
It literally felt like it was out of a weird Christmas movie where
Yeah,
he's in
it's like you've
Krampus's
entered-
lair.
yeah, it felt like Krampus's lair. It was like kind of festive in a weird way. Like it was very
Yes.
strange.
He's listening to I will not get over the listening to music while I do my nails.
Yeah, Tiny Tim too. It's a choice. So obviously this demon was alive in the 40s, 50s.
That song is creepy to begin with. They could have leaned more on that song. If they hadn't have showed him doing
Yeah.
all that, it just made it funny.
You know, it's the same guy that does the song from the first SpongeBob episode, right?
Nah.
Yep, it's Tiny Tim. It was his name. He had a whole career, and he sounded like that, and he had his ukulele.
I hate it. I hate that. That's beyond scary. I don't like that there's a person existing making this music.
Yeah. Living in the sunlight, living in the funlight, having a wonderful time. That whole thing in the fucking first
Oh, okay.
SpongeBob.
Well, it has a
Same
totally
with that.
different vibe in SpongeBob than it did in Insidious, but
Yep.
you know,
Oh,
the
he's a
kind
weird
of
looking
wavy
motherfucker, too.
vinyl too makes
Yeah.
it sound a little creepier. But,
But yes, no, he has albums like that, so yeah, give that a look sometime.
no, I won't do that. So we're giving round 4 to Insidious, making it 6-2. Round 5 is threat level and villain design. How terrifying is the main antagonist? Lipstick face
it's-
demon versus Bathsheba. Are they visually iconic and emotionally disturbing? Lipstick face is
What?
definitely visually iconic.
Iconic.
Not in a
And
good
that was
way,
the weird
though.
Thing with, it was so weird though, because like he swung back and forth between threatening and comical.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was the weirdest thing. Like there were a few times it was like, oh shit, that's a threat, and there's other times where it's like, I want to give him a wedgie. Like it was just,
Yeah, dude. Like somebody needs to talk to this guy.
yeah. You okay, sir? You need some help? Your kids know where you are. Like,
Honestly, though, Bathsheba didn't really feel like a huge part of the movie. She just.
I like at a point too. Like I just thought like she was another ghost because like we've established there was like a few ghosts in the house, and I thought it was just like another crazy lady. I didn't realize it was like the crazy lady.
Yeah, I think Bathsheba's feet are more iconic in the movie than her face.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because her face just kind of looks like generic Exorcist face number 3. Like it's
Exactly.
almost exactly like the Exorcist. It's like the bug-eyed, kind of green and veiny, throwing up thing. Like,
Well, they literally do the puking thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess it's iconic in the sense that it was like spoofing an iconic thing because it looks exactly like. Oh god, what's there's a name. It's in the second movie. It's a really stupid name. Oh god, it's another B movie. It's from the original Exorcist.
talking about the name of the demon from The Exorcist?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. Like I said.
Pazuzu. That's it, Pazuzu. Just
Oh,
kidding.
yeah. I only know
Yeah.
that because I remember that creepy cult where the guy named himself Pazuzu.
Yep. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's kind of a like the name is funny, the like actual makeup is just not like, I mean, yet again it's referencing something else that was iconic, but it is in itself I don't feel iconic. Whereas like I remember the Insidious monster and I could pick him out from a lineup of 1,000 different monsters and it wouldn't even be a challenge.
Yeah, honestly, as a whole, for me, it's a toss-up between the two because definitely looks more iconic, and then they ruin it. It definitely has more scenes where I'm terrified of that thing than I am of Bathsheba.
Yeah. Because again, Bathsheba's not, like, I guess she's a threat in the sense she's going to kill the children, but she's not like this, like, all-powerful demon. It's like a couple of dudes are keeping her down with a bag and some rope.
Yeah, the
And,
scariest parts are where she's invisible, like when she's dragging that girl around by her hair and
Yeah.
shit.
Exactly. Like, when she shows up, it's just like, it's just kind of like a fucked up lady.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like you could show me like 1,000 different pictures of like a hag creature, and like I would probably
kind of vaguely nun looking. Also, as soon as they said her name, Bathsheba, and they kind of look at each other, I'm like, I mean, it sounds like an evil name. I don't know if there's some lore I'm missing here, but
also, where'd they get Bathsheba? Like, I guess that was from.
It sounds biblical.
From the records. Yeah, I guess they got it all from like the records and stuff, like when they were doing research. But they didn't really like say it's like it was a woman named Bathsheba.
Yeah,
like,
did the quickness they come back with this research? Some guy off
70s,
screen gets.
Some guy had to be like, and yet again, he's not using his Google Foo. He is down in archives.
They got a whole goddamn blueprint of the fucking layout of the land and the history of how it was sold off, and
motherfuckers looking through microfilm of fucking like old fucking.
And it has nothing going on apparently. That Ed and Lorraine Warren can be like, "Hey, go find out everything about this for us by tonight."
Hey, why isn't that guy on the team? He seems like he'd be useful to have around.
It would have made more sense if was it the cop? Surely it wasn't. Because the cop was there when they're like, we're going to have our guy go look. It should have just been the cop. That would have made more sense if they're like, he's going to go look into this, and then comes back
the cop
and
was there the whole time.
Yeah, he'd just be like, yeah, I went into the city records and everything. Like, it would have made total sense.
Yep. Like we know a local, one throwaway line. We know a guy in the local PD. We'll give him a call. It's like something like that. Like it's all it would have taken.
And the fact that it wasn't like the first thing they talk about, like they're talking about something else. She's like, speaking of fucked up, here's all this shit.
Yeah.
And then the clock. They just happen to be talking about it at the time that the shit happened in the house, so that the clock can freeze and the tape recorder can go off. How's that work if they weren't doing it at 3:07 a.m.?
Yeah, would it have gone off anyways? Like, if is this like just recording thing haunted now? Is it the tape? Like, it's just
Well, and she had already read all that stuff, so she's like, I got to make sure I don't bring this up until 3:03 a.m. But I will give the. I think I'd give the villain there to Insidious.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, it's a good villain. They just do the ultimate horror movie sin of showing the monster standing up straight in full light.
You know what it reminds me of is Signs. Like Signs I was terrified of the alien until they show him like getting all fucked up by water and shit and just kind of squirming around. I'm like, well, this isn't that bad. I feel like I can beat this thing's ass.
You've heard the whole thing with Signs, right? Like the whole the theory. It's not aliens, it's demons. And the reason why I got fucked up by the water is because he was inadvertently blessing the water every night when he was sending his daughter to bed.
I like that. That's good. But yeah, the part where it like freeze frames and it's like walking through the alleyway, that was so scary, but nobody was scared when it shows him at the end of the movie.
And like I said, look up the alien actor, like looking at like the dailies in his suit. He's just like a guy standing there with a big old long ass head. But you go back and watch Alien, and it's like he's in the shadows, and you catch little glimpses of it, and just like it's like all low to the ground and moving weird. It makes it terrifying. But the second it's just standing up, it's just a dude.
Yeah, very rarely. I feel like they really think it's having an impact though when they show like in The Conjuring, the amount of times that Bathsheba is like face to face with the mom, like growling, and it's just not. It's not having the impact I think they think it's having.
No, like I said, every time I've seen a good horror movie, less is more. Like I said, like Jaws, like I said earlier. Like the whole reason that movie is so effective is because you don't see the goddamn shark 90% of the time, and what your mind is going to come up with is going to be 100% scarier than anything anyone can put on screen.
That sense of when you're in flight versus fight mode, where you feel like you're being chased or stalked or something, is a lot more like primally scary than now it's me and you face to face. Like, I feel like most people would be like, well, I'm going to die, so I'm going to try to fight you.
Exactly.
So I think that brings it up to, what was that? That was round 5, so 6-4. Conjuring in the lead. Performances in Fear. How believable and intense are the actors' portrayals of terror? Do the characters react in a grounded human way to supernatural events? Outside of Ron Livingston in The Conjuring, I feel like everybody had a pretty real reaction to the shit.
Yeah.
Ron Livingston, though, not really. I don't remember him being scared. He almost just seemed put out every time something happened.
Yeah, it's like, this is just annoying. My family. Because I don't think until the night of, though, I don't think he sees shit. Like, that's the whole thing. He's, like, away the entire time. Like, there's like I think the one thing that happens at the beginning is like the door opens on him and he's just like, breeze. And like that's like the weirdest thing that happens to him. Everything else happens like his wife and kids. And I don't know, even that one time that he comes in, like everyone's screaming and she's locked in the basement. And
he still hadn't seen anything. Yeah.
yeah.
He just got home from being away for a week and he just fucking drops everything, runs upstairs like, what the fuck? Which was very realistic for a dad.
yeah, no, he's like kicking down doors and stuff. And that was totally realistic. But yeah, I feel at that point I'd still be like, okay, maybe like someone got into the house and was like messing with my family. I'd still be like really upset, like on guard, and like like watching like the house the whole night. But he's just like, okay, I don't know what happened. I don't.
And he never calls the cops. He immediately goes, let's total opposite of the dad from Insidious, or the dad from Insidious. He's just like, let's go straight to finding a demonologist. Don't get the cops
the dad
involved.
from the Insidious, like because I think the mom was kind of the I guess it's like the mom of the his wife, but his mother-in-law was like the instigator for the whole like investigation thing, because he I'm trying to remember how exactly it came about, because like she the first time we see her, like his wife is like, I'm so sorry, I must think I'm crazy. She's like, you're not crazy, I fucking understand. And even with all this weird shit going on, she still holds on to like the you saw a ghost when you were a kid thing for way too goddamn long.
Yeah, no, it was really weird how she just kind of comes into the movie just to be there to confirm that this did indeed happen to you when you were little. That's kind of her only reason to be there. Nothing helpful. She's not like, so when you were a kid you did this, so like maybe hang on to like this is how you would do it, or this is how you would come back, or anything like that. She's just like, nah, it happened.
Yeah, I mean, like, even the thing with her, like, she would have mentioned something the second the kid went into a coma.
Right.
Like, it's like, hey, here's some weird medical history about our family that might be relevant to this.
Or you think she'd be checking in and be like, does he have any weird sleep shit?
Yeah, is he like doing any weird thing, talking about weird dreams, weird people, like having imaginary friends, something. Like, I'd be fucking watching my kids like a hawk if I fucking, like, had physical goddamn evidence that shit was real.
Dude, those pictures, when he's going through them and he's just like, wow, that's crazy. I would have been like, what the fuck? Like, this was behind me my entire childhood?
Yeah. No, and it's like, and if I remember correctly, like, weird shit had been happening up to that point. Like, things have been moving and going missing, and, like, weird noises and shit, and then the kid goes down. And I don't know, I probably would have asked. I'd be like, hey, has anything weird been happening around the house when little Billy went down?
Right.
Because I've seen some weird shit when you were a kid. And
yeah, I think the lesson you can learn from both of these movies is if your child has weird sleep shit, it's a demon.
Yeah.
It's 100% a demon. Get somebody involved immediately. Sleepwalking, demon. Sleep paralysis, demon.
keep a spritz bottle of holy water by the door at all times, just in case.
I don't know. I didn't really like a lot of the acting in Insidious in general. So
little stilted.
Like I said, the whole thing where he's like, sits there and listens to their spiel, lets them go around the house and everything, and then he's just like,
get out.
So actually, fuck you. And fuck the horse you rode in on. You guys are fucking con artists. 5 seconds go by. Call them back. I understand now. I hated that. I hated that trope. They could have just taken that completely out of the movie, and it would have been fine.
Believe it.
Right. Like, have him wander off while they're talking and have him see the drawings maybe. But, yeah. So I definitely would give, like I said, outside of Ron Livingston, I would give that to The Conjuring. Because, I said, you can feel...
the girls...
I felt exhausted watching that movie.
Yeah. No, I remember the one that got me was, like, when, like, it's, like, the two middle daughters that are sharing a room, and she's like, it's there, you can't see it, and it's just like... I remember, like, nightmares like that, and, like, I had, like, a little bit of sleep paralysis when I was a kid, and just, like, this, like, there was, like, that primal fear and just, like, sitting on the bed, like, my bed is safe, kind of a thing, like,
same. I had sleep paralysis all the way up until, like, fucking 6 years ago. Fucking sucks.
Yeah. And it's wonderful growing up in a religious group when you have that, right?
Yeah, no. And then seeing movies, so many movies that are like, so actually, you're astral projecting and demons want to eat you. Like, oh, so every fear you have during sleep paralysis.
Yeah, and then I, like, in 10th grade, it's like, oh, yeah, no, it's just a fucked up REM sleep cycle and you're fucking, like, not
you
really
just glitched.
Yeah. It's like this advanced computer in your head that would take, like, terawatts of energy.
It probably doesn't help that you're heavily drinking. Maybe when you quit, it will stop happening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'll
that
give
was-
that to the Conjuring. Just as a whole, the acting was better. So
Yeah.
they definitely sell the fear and the exhaustion and the "can this please be fucking over" better.
Yeah, whereas Insidious, it felt more like an inconvenience, weirdly. And it's just like, even like with the thing with her kid in the coma, like, I felt like she didn't show as much, like, distress and wear and, like, tiredness that would actually be, like, associated with that.
Yeah, barely any level of concern. Like, I mean, having a son with special needs, like it can be stressful at times worrying
Yeah.
about your son. If he was in a coma, and we also had to raise our 2 other children during that.
Yeah.
I would never not have dark rings under my eyes.
Yeah, no, she should be like on the verge of death. Especially, it's like, I mean, if the kid's in a coma, she's taking care of like 100% of his biological needs. Like, there's a diaper. It's probably a catheter. There's a diaper. She has to intubate him, which they showed. His like IVs. Like, it's just like that is like literally all she could be doing. And then her
Exactly.
husband's, like, just like as established, fucked off and gone the whole time. She should be like losing her goddamn mind. And she's just kind of like, this is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
She's a way better comedy actress than she is horror.
Yeah.
One thing one little detail I noticed though, you know when she lifts up his bed and there's blood by his feet, and then she pulls it out and it's like a bloody handprint.
Yep.
Like a few days later in the movie, when the bed gets ripped apart and everything, the bloody handprint is still on the sheet. I'm like, she didn't even change the fucking sheets.
They're out of bleach.
So yeah, have the Conjuring taken a little more of a lead. I think that makes it 8-4, right? Atmosphere and round 7, atmosphere and sound design. How do lighting, set design, ambient noise contribute to unease? Is silence used effectively? Does the score heighten the fear?
I mean, like, I honestly can't remember the score from The Conjuring. I want to say it was like more ambient.
Yeah, I'm not. I honestly couldn't tell you if there was an ounce of music in it. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
And then
It seemed
Insidious
very-
is the just scary ass violin.
Yeah, which, I mean, like, I guess, like, it's doing what it's intending to do. It's setting me on edge and, like, making me anxious and shit, but, like, I don't know if that's earned, per se.
Right.
But, like, I want to say there was a bit more intention put in the sound design with Insidious, probably because that was a way they could, like, add more to the movie without adding too much to the cost. Just to make
Yeah.
it, like,
Well, they made,
auditorially
like I said,
unique.
they made use of the silence with the part where the couple times that she walks by something creepy and it's just for the viewer to notice. I like that they use silence in there instead of the ring, that shit.
Yeah.
Conjuring
I hate that
doesn't
shit.
do that either, but I don't know. I don't feel like there was a moment in The Conjuring where anything about the sound or
Sound design.
ambience was like building any kind of tension for me.
Yeah, because I'd say even in Insidious, like, the sound of his, like, fingers and, like, joints was very specific. It was like this clicking, rattling, scratching sound. Like, you could definitely identify when it was the demon versus a ghost based just on auditory cues, whereas I couldn't really think of anything. Yet again, nothing was done wrong. Like, it all kind of blended in together as a whole for
Right.
The Conjuring, but I can't think of anything that stood out. Like,
Yeah, I will say the
audio-wise.
lack of score, like during the hide and clap scenes, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like scary because of the lack of the score. Like
No.
that was just great writing. Like I don't know if I would credit. It definitely feels like Insidious had to lean more on the whole ambient sounds and music to build their fear, whereas
Yeah,
The
'cause it had less
Conjuring earned
visual
theirs
to work
better.
with.
So, I mean, I would give that to Insidious, but I almost feel like it should be a drawback. You know what? The lighting, though, Insidious. I like what they do with
Yeah.
the lighting when they're in the astral plane and stuff.
There's a very hard delineation between the natural and the supernatural, and well, I will say, like, because even in The Conjuring, like, both these movies I feel like needed to be watched in a theater because there's all these
Yes.
little subtle sounds and like super dark blacks that you're like trying to see a tiny little fraction of movement or reflected light in. But yeah, like the lighting was kind of throughout Insidious. The only time I could really think about the lighting in The Conjuring was like the matches scene in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah,
beyond that,
and one thing I just remembered right at the beginning of Insidious, when they first get everything, when he comes home and he's like, "Oh, nice, babe, you unpacked everything." By the way, that deserved way more than a, hey, cool, good job. She unpacked every fucking thing after a move, dude. That takes us weeks. If I came home from work the first day and Jess had unpacked our entire house, I'd been like, how the fuck did you do this?
You can go out and buy some jewelry, right? Goddamn.
Right. But there's something about the lighting right at the beginning when they're first standing in their living room all together that did make me uneasy. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but it feels like they didn't do ceiling lighting. They had like closer to the ground. So it didn't feel like this is supposed to be like a homely moment, like this is our home now, but it felt not that.
Yeah.
Which they did accomplish through lighting, I think. So
well, yeah, like I said, even the whole lighting in the void, and it was very intentional and specific, and how the ghost, I almost want to say, like, I think the ghost had maybe like some kind of UV makeup or something on.
Right.
Because like they all had this kind of like iridescent glow that he didn't have. So I'm just wondering, because I know
well, the red kind of had that iridescent glow. So I wonder,
yeah, a little bit,
if they just had a bunch of that laying around somewhere, and they're like, listen, we're out of money. We gotta. That's the nice thing about low budget movies, is when they rely on practical effects, sometimes it can be fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, no, like one of my favorite movies is Evil Dead. And like that is like literally made for 2 pennies and a promise.
Right. Yeah, I gotta say I like that. I like when they have to lean on lighting effects and stuff like that. Like you said, when he's floating around, that little practical effect just to kind of show the difference between where he was and where he is now. I would give this to Insidious for sure. Yeah,
because it's done more intelligently. Like they had less to work with, and I feel like did more with what they had. Even though The Conjuring did more total, it's like I made a pretty good dinner out of like shitty ingredients, as opposed to I made a gourmet meal out of really good ingredients. Like
right. Well, yeah, that's the difference between $1 million and what was it, 130 million? Mm-hmm. That's insane. That's such an insane difference. And the fact that he did these movies back to back. Patrick. Yeah. What's his face?
Mm-hmm. And I want to say the gap is not $100 million in quality.
No, it's not. And it's the same director, so it's kind of weird that he was like, I don't give a fuck what you give me, I will make a movie.
Well, and horror is one of those ultimate genres where, like, if you have a good director and a good idea, you can make it for nothing.
Right.
Like...
And that dude's got to be rolling in it, because most of these movies spawned at least like 6 more.
Oh, huge franchises.
So, giving round 7 to Insidious brings it. I gotta find a better way to keep track of this. I think that makes it 8-6. That sounds right. Yeah, that adds up to 14.
I just gotta like 3D print a little like
card. I need like round cards, like actual boxer judges have. Round 8, originality and horror tropes. Does the film reinvent or refresh traditional haunted house or possession tropes? Does it avoid cliches or turn them on their head? I don't feel like either did.
Nah, I wouldn't say either avoided cliches.
I think they both wouldn't exist without The Exorcist.
Yeah, that's true. I want to say The Conjuring just leaned into the cliches as hard as it could, where it's like spooky basement, spooky lady, like here's a whole family that's being terrorized.
Yeah, when they start going through the whole possession thing and like holy water and everything, it didn't feel like I was learning anything new. It was like, yeah, we all know we all know how this works.
Yeah, no, I feel like I could probably do a pretty good exorcism right now if you gave me the tools. Like,
yeah,
I've
exactly.
seen enough.
I can do my best. I could probably read Latin better than Patrick did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like he was like, you like stop. He's like, dude, you fuck this up. You're gonna kill your wife.
They both have that thing though, where so in The Conjuring, the Ron Livingston's like, you have to. I mean, he's barely trying. He's like, come on, Ed, come on. But in Insidious, when they're first in there and they're doing their thing, and the guy's like drawing frantically as she's describing, and the mom just runs over there and rips the fucking book out of his hands, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you might not be done.
What is wrong with you? Why would you do that right now?
You're fucking up the process.
Oh, yeah. No, that drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Either one was particularly... I feel like Insidious was a little more original just with the design of the demon.
Yeah. And also, like, I want to say, like, the ghost busting technology they had, it was all kind of, like, jerry-rigged and a little steampunky kind of a thing. Which
I like when he says it's a modified kid's toy, because it's literally the toy like we all had for some reason.
He shoots him, like, such a dirty look. He's like, fuck you. It's true, but fuck you.
I feel like they added a little more They both kind of try to do the thing where when the team comes in, they've got a couple funny guys on there, but I feel like Insidious did that part a little better.
Yeah, because I mean the like we had like the Asian guy and the cop. It was kind of like the comic relief, I guess, but they were just kind of there. Like there was a point where like the Asian guy came running through. I'm like, wait, what? Oh yeah, that guy's here. I forgot about that.
Well, and I was kind of spaced out during this part, but was he like hitting on their daughter?
I guess like I feel like the older daughter got cut a lot on the editing room floor of this movie.
Yeah.
It, like at the very beginning, she's like, it's like, baby, I get to choose somewhere. And like they focus a lot on her, and then she just basically disappears from the movie. Like
Yeah,
the
that
only
was
thing
a
I could think of.
weird thing they throw in where he's showing her the UV light and is, by all appearances, hitting on her. And then it kind of never comes up again. And for a second, I was like, wait, is that like her boyfriend and he's just there helping?
No, and they even set it up in the beginning. Like they say like, oh, she'll calm down as soon as she finds her first cute boy. So, like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I feel like they were focusing on it a lot in the beginning, and I'm guessing there was like a couple scenes of them interacting and like having like a little meet cute kind of a thing and like getting close together, but it just got cut out for time. I'm guessing because it's not
right.
there.
She just kind of vanishes. I kept thinking like the one with glasses that is like seemingly taking care of the younger ones was the oldest, and I kept forgetting there's another one that's older than like 16 years old, 18 years old.
Something like that, and she's all pissy and shit at the beginning and like making a huge like note of her character traits and quirks, and then just gone. Like the last time I remember her doing anything is like when the second younger sister is like coming to her room again and like banging her head. She's like, okay, just come sleep with me.
Yeah.
That's the last thing I can remember her doing.
There's gotta be some kind of backstory to that, because that is weird how she just kind of is in and out of the movie. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Because it definitely feels like there should have been more there. Like we were building to something, but it just goes bleh, and just stops.
Yeah, I gotta find out if there's some backstory there. Nothing's coming up on the first look up, but
even could be as simple as kids. Like there's a lot of kids on that set, and maybe they just didn't have time to film everything.
I mean, that also may be another budget thing.
Yeah. Oh no, working with kids is super hard because there's like hardcore laws about how long they can work and what hours and shit, so they can still have like a childhood.
Yeah, it's just weird. The oldest one would be.
Yeah, well, she's still 17 or something. She's still under those laws, so it sucks, but it's what it is.
So yeah, I would. I guess I would give the originality to Insidious, just because.
Yeah, it's by a hair, but only by virtue of the fact that The Conjuring is just basically made of tropes and stereotypes. Like,
right. I mean, it does better at it, but yeah, the demon that will be burned into my memory forever is seeing the trailer for Insidious for the first time. They kind of show the best part of the movie in the trailer, but that was
true of all trailers, which is why I avoid them at all cost.
Kind of plays into the brain sphere of a Black Widow when you just see that black and red behind his face.
You know what? That is probably it. It's like probably some primal like warning thing in our brains, like, oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah. So this brings him into a tie at
interesting
8-8.
A little movie that could, go figure.
Round 9 is lasting fear factor. Does the movie stay with you afterward? Does it give you trouble sleeping, checking dark corners, or certain scenes seared into memory? Yeah, I mean the monster from Insidious.
Yeah, yet again, the Insidious monster flips between comedic and like horrifying, whereas I feel the witch from The Conjuring does that a little less. Like she's not, I want to say, as scary or scariest, but she's more consistently scary.
You know what else? Annabelle. I remember that being a huge part of that trailer and movie back then. She's not even a focal point of the movie, but the part where they're at their house and the daughter sees the old lady rocking with Annabelle, and Annabelle's head turns.
Yep,
that was a huge one, which is another trope. Scary ass doll turning to look at you.
Oh yeah,
but I do remember that doll sticking with me.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was probably like the most iconic. Like, I mean,
and the sheet.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
Yeah, and I think that's like right before the possession happens or something like that, because like it's like she goes into the house and it's directly to the mom to like possess her after that. I think.
No, that scene is definitely burned into my memory when it just wraps around it and then sticks to the window and then you see the demon in the window. That was good. That was really good.
That was a good scene. I will say though, like even though it was like overdone with the trailer, that like 1 second shot of like the insidious demon right behind like the head of the other person, that's like I want to feel like that was like when I'm like holy shit, like a little more, but
yeah.
But yeah, again, I don't know if that has been lessened over time by the fact that it's in the trailer and it's like the most iconic shot of the movie.
You know, I will say, if either of them would give me trouble sleeping, I would say the demon from Insidious, just because the way they make it is supposed to be like the sleep paralysis demon everybody talks about. Mm-hmm. Like something you see hiding in the dark because it's black and you just see its eyes. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I really hate to give more credit to Insidious.
But it's just like I'm trying to think. Okay, well, I guess like the scene in the basement when like the legs like drop down from above the table.
The claps though too.
Effective.
The
claps. Yeah, you know what? I'll give it to the 2 claps. Like I think those gave me like the like not like a jump thing, but it's like, oh no, that's terrifying. No, like, it's just that small like shiver down your spine instead of like but it's just like I'm unsettled.
Well, and the realization that she's leaning in and listening to breathing and everything, and then she figured out her daughter's behind her. Yeah, that would fuck me up hard.
Yeah, especially like, I'm blindfolded in my house and like, wait, is there someone in this? Because that was a lot of it in like in The Conjuring. It's like, is there someone in this house with me?
Right.
Like before there's a ghost. Is like she's like, I know you're down there. I'm gonna call the cops. Like they weren't dealing with it as a ghost at first. They're dealing with like a home invader who was like creepily hiding in their house, where I feel that's more terrifying than a ghost.
Well, yeah,
like,
Insidious kind of does that too. Like when the first thing happens and he runs upstairs and he's like, they're like, there's somebody in her room, you know? And he's like, I don't see anybody. Like, fucking chill out. Like, where could they have possibly gone? And then he walks downstairs and the front door is wide open. Yeah. And he's like, oh shit, did somebody break in?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. It's a close one, both of those, because there's some very, like you said, they're not the best movies in the world, but there's some goddamn good moments. And I want to say that, like, there's someone in my house and they just ran out the front door is like a real terrifying thing that could happen.
Yeah, the claps thing. Like if I think I would be more scared if I believed that someone had been in my house and clapped right by me and then left. So I'd give that to The Conjuring.
Yeah.
One thing I just thought about with the ambience music, though, it's not really ambience music, but the music in Insidious, outside of the violin shit, the tiptoe through the tulip song and everything, that scared the shit out of me. Like, I hate that song.
It's an unsettling song. And you see like the little kid like juking, like doing his little weird dance to it,
doing his little 40s dance. Yeah.
Yep.
That wasn't even scary though. I was just like, "Who's this little kid? Why is he in my house?"
I'd be like, did they have a friend over or something, or what's going on here?
Weirdest friend ever.
I've seen weirder kids. There's always that one kid in school.
Right. Yeah.
Could have been like that was the 90s version of like the Naruto kid. We don't know.
The kid that wanted to be the milk boy. So that means we're up to 10-8, Conjuring in the lead. And I think it's going to win here with round 10, impact on the horror genre. Did it influence later horror films or spawn a notable franchise? How was it remembered by horror fans and critics alike? Well, I mean, critic score alone, The Conjuring has like 22% on Insidious. I think they both spawned franchises.
Yeah.
Conjuring franchise was way more notable. I mean, they had prequels, sequels. The Annabelle thing from the first movie got its own fucking movie.
I think it's the Nun part of the Conjuring verse.
I think so. That's not, there's fucking many of them. The Ed and Lorraine Warren saga.
Whereas I think Insidious is like 2, maybe Insidious 3, but
there is more than you think. When I looked up what that old lady was from, and the amount of Insidious movies that came up, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, but I know there's more Conjuring than that.
Yeah, no, there's 5 of these. How many Conjuring movies? That cannot be true. It says 4, but it's only showing the ones that are called The Conjuring.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, how many movies are in the Conjuring verse? Maybe.
Here we go. Yeah, The Nun 1 and 2 are both part of it. Annabelle, Annabelle Comes Home, Annabelle Creation, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, The Conjuring 2. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 movies to their 5.
Yeah, almost double.
But
yeah, no.
I mean, either way, James Wan is fucking killing it.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't say that necessarily he has the best quality horror movies of the generation,
say, like,
but
A24, I think, right now is probably killing it with the horror movies
oh
more than
yeah,
anyone else.
Yeah, but the most notable impact definitely Conjuring.
Yeah.
Like zero debate there, and the fact that it's supposed to be like true stories really added to the whole vibe of the universe. When they start getting into like The Nun, though, I don't know how they're still saying this is based off, like, they weren't there during The Nun.
all it would take is here. This is based on a story that someone said one time, and they said it was true. That's all. That's like the limit of the thing they require for based on a true story.
I'd love to hear Patrick's.
There was a crazy nun. Could even be just
right
based on a true story.
Just like the witch, though. They could have this fucking nun was murdering and killing and became a fucking specter of herself, and it was just somebody having a bad day back in that era. But I would love to hear Patrick Wilson's take on the set being haunted. I really just want to see, like, Lorraine Warren saying this set is haunted. I wonder if everybody was just like, yeah, okay, Lorraine. That's because we're making it look haunted. It's a fucking movie.
We spent $100 million to make this house haunted. It better fucking feel haunted.
Yeah, exactly. If you had said anything else, I would have been fucking livid.
You even imported actual ghosts for this shit. Renting them from your husband. Apparently has a warehouse fucking full of them.
Yeah, I just, the fact that it had the same lead actor, same director. I don't know much Patrick Wilson was like in other than this. I mean, he definitely found his wheelhouse, but he doesn't have to like act super hard to be this guy. He's the same guy. Kind of in both movies, like
very similar.
There's nothing really differentiating those two characters, other than
like Loki feels like with a few tweaks you could make one movie the sequel of the other.
Yeah,
like it's like he did Insidious and then like learned about demons and all this crazy shit. Now he's fighting them with his wife.
It does make me wonder though, like, you know, if they're trying to sell this as a true story. Another thing is the real Perrin family visited the set of The Conjuring. So Lorraine Warren and the family that was haunted all came back to the set to relive this. If this really happened this way, no fucking chance am I bringing my family back to be like, remember the demon? Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah. Remember when your mom almost stabbed you? That was great, wasn't it? Let's go relive that.
I wonder how much money they got for this. With such a... Well, they had a bigger budget, so maybe they got a good chunk.
Yeah, I mean, probably $1 million or something like that, just for, like, you know, rights to the names and stuff. But, I mean, probably the Warrens probably cost a little bit more to use their name because they're already kind of like media moguls and savvy in the industry. You
know, I just saw the film, The Conjuring was shot in chronological order, which might be part of why it does the... I'm exhausted so well, because you're going along with them as probably the actual cast is getting exhausted.
By the end of it, yeah. Well, especially if you're doing all that, and then like the last scenes you're shooting are those like hardcore struggle scenes in the basement and shit, all the wire work.
Oh yeah, sitting in a crawl space fighting, dude.
Getting yanked around by cables. Yeah, probably fucking like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Probably
a lot of those fucking bruises are real.
Yeah, that's brutal. So yeah, this no surprise again. The Conjuring wins the battle.
You know what? I'll say the underdog put up a good goddamn fight for the budget it had.
Again, that's what I love about this format is all 3 episodes so far. There's a moment where like, fuck, am I gonna give this to fucking Insidious? Am I gonna give this to American Pie?
Yeah, no, but that shows that's like even a movie you don't consider to be the better movie still has its merits and values. Like if you break it down into its constituent parts.
Yeah, no, it was. I don't, like I said, I'm not super into horror movies, so I'm sure there's going to be I can't wait to hear just from the people I know, the people that tell me how shitty my opinions are on this. But
Oh yeah,
I
no.
think
Just
they will all
please,
agree The Conjuring should win.
Yeah, no. Please tell us how wrong we are, though. We'd love to hear it.
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot of goddamn horror fans out there, and they were super fucking passionate. So I can't wait to hear all the stuff that I didn't know, that I didn't pick up on.
I like me some horror, but it's not something like I like seek out unless there's something like big coming out. But like
good horror movies to me always felt like spicy food. Like I know what I'm in for, and if it's a good horror movie, I like it in small doses just to get the feel alive a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, get that little adrenaline go. But it's hard to find a good horror movie these days. I mean, yet again, these were like pretty decent. Like I give them like kind of like a B, like maybe like a B minus for Insidious and a B plus for The Conjuring. But like to find like a good like A tier horror movie that actually like grips me and like makes me like fucking like question my reality and feel a little fear for my soul, it's rare.
Yeah, I mean, the older I get, the more fucked up it has to be to like touch me at all. Like this kind of shit doesn't do it. Like a couple jump scares here and there is great, but like I said, like the foreign version of Speak No Evil, there's no jump scares or anything that scares me about that movie. It's the fear of humanity. But let me get. I got the wheel up here. Let me get my phone out. We will record this. All right. Spin the wheel.
No way.
Nice. Next up on Flick Fights is going to be John Wick versus Nobody.
Ooh, all right.
I'm psyched, especially because they just made a sequel to both of them. Well, like a spin-off kind of John Wick. Fuck, I forgot to delete that off the wheel. Spin-off of John Wick, but they just started putting out trailers for the sequel to Nobody.
Yeah, I saw that.
So psyched for that. This is going to be fun. Yeah. I've been looking for it.
I love me some Bob Odenkirk too, so.
I love both of these movies. I'm really psyched.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to lie. Like, for this one, like, I had to kind of, like, psych myself up. Like, okay, today is the day we're watching the movie. but this one, like, I'm like, oh, I'm fucking gonna watch John Wick again. Fuck yeah.
Well, yeah, that's kind of how I felt about American Pie versus Superbad. I was super psyched for this one. Like I said, I'm sorry to everyone out there that this is their fucking jam, but horror is just not my jam. Yeah. I'm happy to do it just to get you guys to watch, but
good horror is hard.
Yeah,
good horror is hard.
That's the other thing though is horror fans are like. Real horror fans are like, that's not a real horror movie. This is a real horror movie. And when they tell you, like, you guys should do this horror movie, I'm like, okay, but how many people have actually seen that that are just casual movie watchers? Like,
so some like highly obscure Serbian film. Where
that's exactly what I was about to. The
parts.
Serbian film.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that. I don't even know if I could talk about some of these movies without YouTube fucking taking it down. So. We love you, horror fans.
What is it? 1,000 Days of Sodom or whatever. Yeah, it's like no. Certain things we're going to stay away from.
Exactly. So, I hope this fed the horror fans a little bit. I'm sorry, I probably won't be touching on your creme de la creme movies that you want us to watch, but we appreciate you and tell us, really do tell us how much we suck and how wrong we were about this. And all the nuances we might have missed in the
even make a new account to like back yourself up in the previous comment about how stuff. Like, we encourage that.
Argue with yourself in the comments. It'd be great. But until next time, I am Devon Vestal.
I'm Nick Nye.
This was Flick Fights.